From the Oklahoma newsroom, this is an OSU update with Kyle Fredrickson. I'm Jenny Carlson. Kyle, you and John Helsley are doing a position breakdown as we head towards the beginning of this season, and probably a position that's most questionable, I guess, for a lot of people is running back. There seems to be personnel there, but the who is a little bit of a question. I think Chris Carson's the guy that a lot of people expect, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Being at Big 12 Media Days last week in Dallas, Carson's obviously a hot topic. A little bit of deja vu. OSU enters the season, Big 12 Newcomer of the Year, being a junior college transfer running back. And as we enter this season, losing Desmond Rowland, bringing back Rennie Childs, there's some questions as to whether Childs is that every down guy. He's not really that power back that you typically see in the Big 12. So you wonder about durability, things like that. But in Carson's case, from what Mike Gundy told us, what he's seen in the spring and in the summer workouts, he's been a guy who's shown them everything they've needed to see so far. The guy who is as versatile as advertised, but can also be that power back. He's got that little bit of a bigger frame than a Rennie Childs does have. But it's also still a question mark because remember, as much hype as Tyreek Hill brought in as that newcomer of the year, he struggled mightily out of the running back position and within this offense. It's easy to kind of forget after the way he finished his Cowboy career with that punt return, some of the issues that they had getting him the ball and using him effectively. So to crown Carson as the guy at this point, I think is a little premature, but he certainly brings all the tools and has all of the things you'd like to see in that starting Big 12 back.
One of the things that Mike Gundy said at Big 12 Media Day that sort of piqued my interest and got me thinking about Chris Carson was he talked about, chemistry and teamwork and, his willingness to fit into the team concept, which makes me think about running backs as blockers for Mason Rudolph. And that might be a big question mark because until you actually get in some live drills in the fall, how well does he do in that? That's probably anybody's guess.
It is, but I think one thing that Cowboys fans should be optimistic about is this is a team that's really brought in all of its chips in the run game. When you hire a guy like Greg Adkins with NFL experience to bring in Jason McAdoo to coach that tight ends, fullback, Cowboy back position, just 1 year removed of almost a 20-year stint coaching offensive line at Montana State. So you bring in two guys with a lot of knowledge. You really solidify that Cowboy back position as that blocker to be more physical up front. It shows you that they're dedicated to this side of the offense because as we saw last year, when you're unable to get that run game started, defenses are just going to sit back and make it very difficult for a young quarterback like Mason Rudolph.
I guess lastly, one more thing that was brought up at Big 12 Media Day was when OSU's had its most successful teams, it's largely had a 1-2 at running back, a couple guys that can get yards. Is there reason to believe the Carson-Childs combo could be a combo like that?
I think OSU fans should hope that that's the case because the guys, like I said, they are a little bit different. They have a little bit of different body types. But you're right. When you go back to that Fiesta Bowl season with Jeremy Smith and a guy in Joseph Randall, you have two guys with varied skill sets that really keeps a defense on its heels. So Mike Gundy said as much. He wants to have more than one guy back there carrying the load to keep those guys fresh. Also because throughout the course of a season, you're going to have guys get injured and guys get hurt. So the more experience you can get at those 1-2 spots, the better off you're going to be down the road.
All right. Thanks, Kyle. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.